Alright, now welcome to Module 1 Video Lesson 4. And I want to believe at this point that you have two more extra vendors and you have two more extra customers, and that you've really got good at adding customers and vendors. I want to point out the fact that adding customers and adding vendors, that even adding employees, these are key fundamentals that are very, very important. They might appear basic. If you cannot get this right, then the rest will not be, or any other thing you do will not be of any use. So you need to get good at working with vendors and adding them. You need to get good at adding customers, because you cannot operate business without customers. You cannot operate business without vendors. That's why it's very, very important to grasp these steps and make sure you're really good at it. So I want to believe that you did the practical exercise. Now in this lesson, you're going to learn how to deal with employees and how to add employee information. So what we're going to do right now is going to close this window right here, and then we're going to add employees. So we can use this shortcut here to add employees, or I can just go to employees right here. I'll click employees, and then you come to new employee. Before we go to new employee, notice the employee that we added in video lesson 2 when we were creating company file. Here they are, and you can see the information. And before we even add new employee, we can improve this employee information just to make sure that it's correct and there's no missing information. So to edit this information, all I need to do is just double click the name of the employee here twice, and the details will open up. And what you notice is the information is not complete with a bunch of things that are not added. And here's the thing: when you add either customers or employees or vendors during the process of creating company file, you're not going to be able to add all the information that you need. We added this employee when we were creating company file lesson 2, and notice how there are a lot of missing information that we were not able to add, because it doesn't allow you to add a lot of details that are very, very important. That's why I recommend, if you're going to create a company file, don't bother about adding employees and vendors during the process of creating the company file. Complete the company file first. Okay, and now when you get to the QuickBooks interface, you can now add vendors, you can now add employees, because you are able to add all the details required. That's why we are adding more vendors and employees when we have completed creating the company file. So what you notice is this employee that we added during creating the company file, the function was complete. For instance, you could not say she was a Mr. or Miss, or you couldn't, there wasn't option for that information. Middle name, initials, we could not add that. A social security number, we could not add that. What would like to be printed on a check when you're making the payment, could not add that. But now from the interface, let me close this one. Here from the QuickBooks interface, you can now add anything you want about vendor, anything you want about customer, anything you want about employees. This is the best place to come, or this is the best starting point to add customers and vendors and employees. So when you're creating a company file, if you have option to add employees during that process, you can skip, because you know once you get here, when you completed the company file, now you can add vendors, employees, and you'll have the option to add all the details required. Okay, so right here we want to add employee details. I'm gonna click employee, and we know that this customer Rachel, employee that you added during creating company file lesson 2, this missing information. So we are going to edit the info here for this employee and add what is missing, and then from there we're going to add 2 more new employees. So let's get that one done. So to edit the info on the information for Rachel, I will double click the name of the employee, and here we are. She is, let's start with the personal info. She is a Mrs. Okay, so I'm gonna add Mrs. First name is Rachel, middle name is we don't have a middle name, so let's say she's called Rachel Jerry Matthew. So Jerry, middle name is N. Okay, print on check. What name do you want to be printed on check? Notice that the moment I add middle initials here, and then I click print on check, that name appears here. This is the name that will be appearing on a check when you're making the payment. Social security number, SS number. Now in other countries like US and others, they talk about social security number. Here in Kenya we talk about identification number, ID. So here I'm gonna enter this employee's ID. So there you go. The ID number is 286 55896. That's the employee number. Now, of course, if you are an international student, you're gonna have to use your identification number, the one that you use in your country, identify yourself as a citizen, whether that's social security number or whichever name that you call it. Doesn't really matter. What matters here is to know what should go into this section. In Kenya, it's your ID number. If you're a student from US, that is social security number. If you are from Zambia or any other country, it's the number that you use in your own country to identify yourself. Now let's come to gender. What do you have here? The correct format for social security number is year. Now QuickBooks has a very set format for certain entries, and that's dependent on it should follow a certain format, like 3 numbers, then we have a dash, 2 numbers, and then we have 4 numbers. Now when we have this program developed, they set to follow a certain format. We will not be using the same format here in the country, and that's why I mentioned before that most of the companies where they buy this system, they tamper with some of the settings to allow and accommodate the kind of identification number that you use here in the country. So in this case, let's see whether we can follow that format. 3 numbers, we've got 2 numbers and then 4 numbers, and then let's see. So let's just assume that's the number. If you're using this system, it's being used by a company, most likely they have tempered to allow here the identification number, the ID number, to be entered without any issue. And if they haven't tempered to the system, then you can raise to the management and they'll tell you what to do about that. Sometimes employees are given a very specific number that identify them, that conform with the system format. Okay, so that's not a big deal. So now gender, she's a female. A date of birth, you can enter date of birth, and let's see, I want to click here to change the year. Let's see, we can change the year. We can go back to, okay, let's just click here, and then I'm going to enter the year direct. This is 1980, and the date is okay, so just leave that one as it is. So there you go, that is personal information. We want to enter address and contact information. So I'll click right here. Let's see whether everything is okay. This is the address that we entered, City, let's put the Kisumu here. Kisumu, let's remove it from here, and that's okay. State, you can skip it. Phone number, that's okay. Cellular number, we can add more number if you want. You can just leave it as it is. That is okay. Pages, we don't use pages in Kenya. Pages are basically gadgets that are used by medical professions and doctors, and they basically used for communication. That if someone is required, it's an emergency, and they are required to report, doctors, they are required to report, then the pager is used to communicate with them wherever they are. It's basically a device of communication, but we don't use pages, so I'm gonna leave that one as it is. Now let's go to additional info. Notice for additional info, it's empty because we added these employees when we are creating the company file. That gives us limited access or limited options. Okay, so you cannot add everything about your employee when you are creating a company file, but once you have it created from the interface of QuickBooks, you can add any information you want, and that's what you're doing right now. So account number, here you can enter employee's account number. That makes it easy when you're paying your employees. So just enter that number 123 and 51. Let's enter, pick our banks, Kenya Commercial Bank. So let's enter something that's close to the reality. Okay, but it doesn't really matter, you just enter the account number of that employee. Billing rate levels, let's see what we have here. Just leave that one as it is. So that is personal info. In the personal info, we have personal information, address and contact, and additional information, and then we click OK, and everything is now updated right here, and then we can now close. Let's now add one more employee. So I'm going to click employee right here, or I can come to employees, employee center, and here we are. I'll click new employee. I'm going to enter a new employee. This employee is Miss, and she is Laura. She's Laura. A middle initials is Michael, stand for M, and then last name is sorry, this is Laura. Sorry, this Laura J, and her last name is Michael, right? Social security number, we done that, and then if she's a female, a date of birth, I just pick this date. Then I'm gonna change the here. This is 19. Sorry, this is 1984. All right, and date, let's say 12th, month, let's say 6th. So that's the date of birth. Then you go to address and contact. Home address, let's give the home address the PO box, PO box, and the box number, city, Mombasa, phone number, country code, and then the phone number. So we have 736-985617. Okay, if they have an alternative phone number, you can enter an alternative phone number. In this case, Laura doesn't have an alternative phone number, so you're gonna go to the email. The email is laura@gmail.com. gmail.com, and that is it. So now we go to additional information. Can I enter the account number of Laura? That's the account number of Laura, and then that is it, and I click OK. So what do we have here? Sorry, okay, something went wrong. When I click and go back to personal info, when we clicked OK, we had okay, this is just click leave as is. Let's add one more. Dory shall come back to that, and I'll show you how to add that compensation information. Let's add one more employee. So this time around, instead of using employee, I'm going to use this one. Okay, this shortcut. I'll click employee. I'll click employee, and here we are. I'll go to new, and then I'm gonna add more employee. This time around, this is a Mr. right? And first name, he is Halpan. Okay, middle name, sorry, this is Halpan. Middle name is R. Let's put some period there. It's R, and then Alphan Meshach. Right. Social security number 32123. There you go. And gender, he is a male. Okay. Date of birth, speak a date, and then you can change the year. This is going to be 1979. Right. That's it. We go to address and contact. The address is P.O. Box. Can I enter the numbers there? The city, this is going to be where actually let's enter Thika. And phone number, we enter the country code. This becomes important, especially if your business is international. You're gonna be dealing with you're gonna be making international calls, so the country code is becomes very important. It's gonna enter the country code, and then we enter the number. There you are. Yes, they have two phone numbers. It's gonna enter alternative phone number. Not so that if your employees don't have two phone numbers, you don't have to enter the alternative phone number. So in this case, our employee here has two phone numbers, so we have entered the alternative phone number. Email, this is Alpan at yahoo.com. That's their email address, right? No changes. So we go to additional info. What we're gonna add here is the bank account number. This enables you to be able to pay them direct by depositing their salary in the bank account, and then you click OK. All you have here is, do you wish to set up employees payroll info? The new employee payroll info shown in the payroll info tab currently matches the employee default. So basically what this means is there's still some more information that is missing for this employee, and that is compensation information. What we have here is personal information. We want to add compensation information in terms of things like are they paid monthly, what's their payment, are they paid part-time, are they paid in commissions, all that information. We call that compensation information. I'm going to show you how to do that. So for now, we're going to click leave as is, and there you go. So now you have your 3 employees, but there's information that's missing for each and every one of them. So you're gonna have to add more information for that information that's missing. But before we do that, I want to double click Alpan just to check that everything is okay. Yeah, the reason I'm doing that is because I'm not showing the other name of this employee. I'm only showing the first name and the middle initial. So I need to add the other name. So double click to edit, and here you realize that name is missing. So it's Alpan Mike R, and the last name is Derek. Okay, it's Derek. There you go. So I'm gonna click OK. Yeah, and there I have now the full names. This middle initial doesn't have a period, so I'm gonna double click Laura to edit it. I'm gonna make sure we have a period there, and then you click OK. There you are. So what you have now are 3 employees, but we know there's some information that's missing about those employees. Don't have payroll information. So now I'm gonna show you how to add payroll information, and then I will leave you to add 2 more employees and complete the payroll information. So let's start with Derek. I would double click Derek to open. Here we are. Then I'm gonna come here, change tabs. Currently what we have here is personal information. I'm gonna click here, and you're going to add payroll and compensation information. And this has to do with how you pay your employees. Payroll information. So we have what to call earning items, and we have what to call deductions. But I'll show you how you add each and every one of them. So these employees, this employee, we need to set up the kind of earning they do. If you click here, you will not see anything because you haven't set up anything. So we want to set up a new earning item. Earning item could be their paid salary, their paid commissions, and all that. So I'll show you how to set up earning items. So I'm going to click there and click new, and here we are. How are they paid? They receive annual salary. Okay, so I'm going to click annual salary. Now annual salary basically means they are paid monthly. Now QuickBooks does not have monthly salary. It does have annual salary, but when you enter the annual salary, it will divide it by 12 to indicate how much employee gets each month. It's able to automatically calculate that for you. So you have annual salary. So pick annual salary because this is not a part-time employee. They are not paid in commission. They are not paid in bonuses. They basically paid salary. Okay, so for wages, you have these options. Hourly wages basically means you pay that employee per hour depending on how many hours the employee has worked. Annual salary basically means they are paid monthly salary. Commission, we all know commissions, they are paid in commission or they are given bonuses. Okay, so depending on the employee, you pick the right wage here. In our case, annual salary. Then I click next. Now, is this item for regular, overtime, sick, or vacation pay? The system wants to know this annual salary. Is it a regular pay, which means they are paid monthly, it's constant, or is it overtime, meaning they are only paid when they work overtime, or is it sick pay? Are they paid for just in case they get sick, or is it a vacation pay? You have to be very specific. So of course we know these are regular pay, it's monthly pay, so you pick regular, then you click next. Now enter the name of the salary. Now check down here. For example, if you are creating a payroll item to track officer salary, you may want to call them officer salary. So it's basically the name of the earning item. Good to call it just salary. Okay, salary, or you can call it executive salary. Okay, and then you click next. Now, expense account. We want to link this salary to the right account so that once a payment is made, the affected account is affected immediately, so that at the end of the day it will be easier for us to run our reports. Now the system will automatically pick payroll expenses, because basically if you are paying our employees, then of course this is an expense and these are payroll expense. If you want to change that, you can click here, then you can pick any other account, but in this case we know that's a payroll expense, so we don't have to change that. Now notice here that enter the account for tracking this expense. We track our payroll expenses using this account. Sorry. Salary is an expense to your company. You can change this account at any time. Okay, so if you want to change it, you can click here and make the changes, but we know this is an expense to our company, so just click finish and that item is entered here, right? So that is how you enter earning item. We can enter as many earning items as we want. Let's add one more earning item. So click there again, and I'll actually click down here, and I want to add another earning item. So click there and click add new. Again, this is going to be annual salary, and this is the salary for managers. So the first one was salary for executives. Now salary for managers. So I'm going to click next here, and it's a regular pay, of course. So click next, and then I'm going to call it managers salary. Remember, the name here doesn't really matter. It's just a name that helps you identify the kind of salary. Okay, you can call it even just salary. The name doesn't really matter, and it doesn't affect anything. It's just a name to identify that earning item. So we click next, and here we are. We know the affected account is payroll expenses. We click finish. There you are. You can add as many items as you want in that section. Now I want us to add one more item. Okay, add new item, and let's say these are commissions. Let's assume that we have salespeople that are paid on commissions instead of annual salary. So we pick commission, and then you click next and enter the name of the commission. So we know this is for salespeople, so you can say sales. Okay, sales commission. Okay, that's the name of this pay item. Notice here, for example, if you are creating a payroll item to track sales commissions, you may want to call it sales commission. That's actually what you've just done. Okay, the name doesn't really matter. It helps you identify the kind of pay item that is. So click next. Here we are. Of course, you know that is a payroll expense, so we don't need to change anything here. Click OK. Now this one is it will need some extra information, because we know that commissions are paid based on a certain percentage, and this system wants you to actually set up those percentages so that it will be able to automatically calculate the sales commission for a given salesperson automatically for you. So let's see what we have here. Default rate. Let's go through what it's written here. If the rate is the same for all or most employees, enter it in the field below. Talking about this field here. If your commission rate is percentage or of an amount or quantity, be sure to enter in percentage rate with a percentage symbol below. If your commission rate is an amount times the quantity, enter the amount below. If the rate varies between employees, leave this field empty. So you have options here. If you do pay your employees commission based on a certain percentage, let's say 5% of what they generate at the end of the month, then you can just enter 5 and then you enter the percentage. Okay, so the system will calculate the percentage of that employee based on the amount of sales they make. Now, if the commission is flat amount, then you can enter the amount. Okay, let's say if it's 20,000 and that's flat, regardless of what they sell, then you enter the flat amount. That's why you have this label here. If the rate is the same for all or most of the employees, enter it in the field below. So assuming all employees get 20,000 at the end of the month, you enter that amount there. If it's a percentage, you enter the percentage with the percentage symbol. If your commission rate is an amount, okay, specific amount times the quantity, enter that amount below. Let's say if for every sale they make, you give them, let's say 5,000, right? That's just an example. That means if they sell like 10 items and for every sale you give them 5,000, now what they have now would be at the end of the month, they would have made 50,000 because you're paying them 5,000 for every quantity they sell. So in case you pay them a given amount for every quantity they sell, then you enter that amount there. So let's say if I were paying my employees 5,000 for every single sale they make, then I would enter the 5,000 here. And this system will take what they sell and multiply, or the quantity they sell and multiply with this amount and determine their commission at the end of the month. So in our case, we pay our employees percentage. It's normally 10% of any sale they make. So you're going to enter 10% and then you click finish. And the commission is entered there. So this is how, and we actually have a problem. We made a mistake. We tampered with the manager's salary. We are supposed to add a new item, but we changed what was there. So let's add one more new item. So click there, then I'll click this. No, okay, our manager's salary seems to be there. I was not able to, so I thought we'd tampered with it. So we have everything: executive salary, we have a sales commission salary, and that is it. We can add one more because I want you to get good at it. So I'll click right here, and let's say we give bonuses. Okay, apart from the salary, commissions, we give bonuses to those who have done really well in our company. So I'm gonna click there and add an item called bonus. So click add new. This time round, this is a bonus. Okay, so I want to click next, and we basically call them bonuses anyway. Okay, we don't have to have a special name for them. Call them bonuses, and then you click next. It's a payroll expense, and then finish. That is it. Okay, we can even have hourly wages if we want, but before we end hourly wages, notice that for the sales commission, the percentage rate is entered here. Okay, so the system will know that it calculate 10%. Okay, so let's add one more, and that's assuming we're just making an assumption here that we do have employees that we pay hourly. Okay, so I will click right there, the drop down list button. Then I'm gonna click add new, and I'm going to add hourly wages. Click next. These are overtime. Okay, assuming we pay our employees hourly wages when they work overtime. So I'm gonna pick overtime pay, and then I'll click next, and then here you need to enter the name of that earning item. So let's just call it hourly overtime, right? And then click next. Now define overtime for this payroll item. Now let's look at the option that you have. Time and a half, which is 1.5 times the base wage. Double time, 2 times the base wage. Now if you pay your employees when they work overtime, what the system want to know is, what's your rate for overtime? Do you pay them 2 times more what you pay them in regular hours, or do you pay them 1.5 times more what you pay them in regular hours? You need to tell the system exactly which method do you use to determine your overtime pay. Let's say for a normal working hour you pay them 500 per hour, and for the overtime you pay them twice that amount. Then it means here when you're setting up overtime, you're going to pick double time, meaning you pay them 2 times more what you pay them in normal working hours. So when they work overtime, you pay them 2 times more what you pay them in their normal working hours. So you have to determine which of these two. Okay. Now for the custom, then this one allows you to customize it now the way you want, especially if it doesn't fit within these two. So we have here is use this option to define different overtime rates. Enter 3 for triple time, enter 4 for 4 times. So if I enter 3 there, what I'm telling the system is for the overtime I pay 3 times more what I pay for regular hours. So let's say if the employee regular hour they are paid, I pay my employees 500 per hour. For the overtime I'll be paying them 1500, because this number here indicates I pay them 3 times more, right? So this is very important. In this case, let's assume we pay them time and a half, like 1.5 times more. What we have here is, if your company pays several different overtime rates, create a separate payroll item for each rate. You don't need to create a separate item for each employee. When you set up your employee's record, you can attach one of these overtime items to it and then assign a specific dollar amount. That is, if nothing fits here, then you can create the overtime amount, or rather you can create the overtime payment on a different separately from the normal payroll and compensation formation. But in this case, in all our employees, if they work overtime, for the overtime we pay them 1.5, or rather 1.5 times more than the basic wage of the normal working hours. So you're going to pick that one, and then you'll be good to go. So I'll click next. Here we are, it's payroll expense affected, then you click finish. So that is how you create your pay, your earnings item. You enter their names there. Once you've done that, remember we are still on Alpan. We haven't yet decided where does this employee lie here. Are they at executive level? Do they receive executive salary or sales commission or manager salary and all that? So now here we need to indicate the amount they earn per year, okay, not per hour. The amount that you enter here is the amount they earn per year, and then the system will break that amount to determine what they earn per month. So let's say for instance, let's say we target to have this employee he is at an executive level and they are paid 100,000 per month. Okay, well, let's say 80,000 per month, right? We need to end up per year here. So you're going to take that 80,000, multiply it with the 12 months, so that you can enter the amount of salary this executive called Alpan earns at the end of the year, and that is going to be around 960,000. So the system will be calculating monthly salary out of that. and to be able to know that the monthly salary for this employee is 80,000. So you don't enter monthly salary here, you enter annual salary, and this time you break it down and calculate the annual rate. So this employee, let's remove this. Let's for the manager salary, let's set the manager salary. Let's say the managers get 50,000 per month. So the end of the month, at the end of the year, that will be around 600. So I'm gonna enter 600. Okay, so if someone is a manager, they'll be getting 600,000 per year, which is basically 50,000 per month. Okay, so that's okay. Now let's see. All right, you can only have one rate for all salary payroll items per employee. Do you still want to change the rate of these payroll? Yes. So now what we're going to do is we entered a ton of items here, but they are not all applicable. So I'm gonna remove that one. Yes, I'm gonna remove that one. I'm gonna remove that one also. We don't need that information. All we need is this information, because this is, we are entering information about Alpan. He is an executive, so he is paid 80,000 per month, and so he is earning 96,000 at the end of the year. Forget about the rest, because you cannot enter all others or you cannot enter all the other pay items for this employee. Any given employee has only one given pay item, so we pick that one. Then here, payment frequency, we pay them monthly, so you pick is the monthly pay, right? Payroll schedule, we don't have added payroll schedule. Let's see whether we can add payroll schedule. Add new. Here we are. Let's see what we have. Now the information you provide here will be used to create a payroll schedule. Basically means the system will be creating a payroll automatically for you toward the end of the month, so that when you need the payroll, you find it already ready. And this is what means by automating your business, and you take care of everything. You never have to sit down to calculate what you're going to pay your employees. The system will automatically calculate that for you at the end of the month. All you need to do is, by a click of a mouse, it will show you how much you're supposed to pay every single employee. So you need to tell it, give it a schedule for when to be preparing the payroll reports, and that's exactly what you're going to do right here. So notice here, the information you provide will be used to create payroll schedule. Okay, you can set up multiple payroll schedules if you need. So let me show you how you go about this. Now this is very important, so pay close attention. Now tell us how you'll be processing payroll using QuickBooks. What do you want to name this payroll schedule? This is a monthly payroll schedule for this employee, so you're gonna type monthly. It will be called monthly payroll, right? And then how often will you pay your employees on this schedule? You pay them every month, so it's monthly again. Okay, you don't pay them daily, you pay them every month. All right, And then what is the pay period date? Like, at what date do you want the payroll report to be ready for you? You need to tell the system. Now, oftentimes, most of the companies, they have all their payroll reports before that first, somewhere 24th or 26th, somewhere there. You pick the date. The date you pick for the system is the date the system will follow. So if we pick, let's say for instance, if we tell the system by 28th, I want to have my payroll ready. At this given date, when you come to the system, you'll find all your payroll report prepared for you. All you need to do is pay your employees. Okay, it will calculate everything and have the payroll report ready for you. All you need is just click, see how much you're supposed to pay every employee, and then make the payment. It makes the work easier for you. You eliminate paperwork. You never have to sit down as an accountant to try to figure out how much am I supposed to pay so and so in this company. No, everything will be done for you automatically. This is the power of QuickBooks. So we want to have all the pay or reports prepared by 26th so that we pay our employees by 29th or by 30th. So I'm going to pick 26th of this year, starting from June, right? What date should appear on the paycheck for this pay period? Now, this date indicates when the payroll report should be ready for you, all right? Which is 26th. But you also, the system wants to know in the paycheck, which date do you want the system to use to indicate the date the employee was paid? While all our reports are going to be ready, payroll reports are going to be ready on 26th. In the check, we want it to indicate 28th. Okay, and this is actually the day we pay our employees on 28th, but the reports are ready on 26th. There's a difference. This is the date you're going to have your reports ready, payroll reports ready, and this is the date going to be indicated in their check when they were paid. So what date should appear on the paycheck for this pay period? It's 28th. Then we have this one. What day should appear on the paycheck for this pay period? This is a date. This is a day. Okay. And we can pick the 28th day, so they just conform, right? Remember, we have months with fewer days. It's gonna be tricky if you pick maybe 30th. There are months with 28 days like Feb, so just go 28 and it's going to appear on the 28th day. Okay, and that's it. That's all we need. Now, note that the following is based on the information supplied above. You pay your employees 2 days after the pay period end date. Okay, so the pay period end date is 26th. It's like when you've compiled all the end of the month payroll reports and you close the books of account as far as payroll is concerned. That date is 26th. After that, we have one more day, and then on 28th, we pay our employees. That is what all this means. So you pay your employees 2 days after the pay period end date. The paycheck date for the current month is 28th. What month are we right now? We are on June 2020. So by the end of this June 2020, actually by 26th of this month, we're going to have this system that will have prepared all the payroll reports and close the books of accounts as far as payroll is concerned. And then the employee will be paid on 28th. And that's the month that will be indicated on the checks. So that is it. That's how you set the schedule. So let's click OK. There you are. And that information comes in here. Now, I'm seeing something different here. I'm going to remove this executive salary because I have another executive salary here. So I will click there I want to delete actually that information. And yes, let's see what's happening here. All right, let's enter the amount there. 96. All right, that's it. Not sure why it's appearing twice, but no problem. Just one and the same thing. So that was payroll schedule. You have it monthly, payment frequency monthly, and that is it. That's how you set up the payment item for this executive called Derek. Now let's now go to deductions. Okay, but before we go to deductions, I think we can handle deduction the next lesson. Let me just make sure you get this right so that I don't overload with a lot of things. So there are pay items. That's things like salary, bonuses, commissions. Deductions, it's the deduction that you make, like NHIF or NSSF or any other form of deduction that you make, but we shall cover that one in the next lesson. For now, I want you to rush it, how to set up pay items and how to set up payroll schedules and all that. So for now, I'm gonna leave this one. We shall cover it in the next lesson. I'll just click OK and we're done. Now we've only set up that payroll compensation information for Alban or Derek. Let's do it for Laura. So I'm gonna click Laura and then actually double click Laura to add that information. Just double click. We added personal information for Laura, but we didn't indicate compensation information. So you come right here, click here, and then pick payroll and compensation info. Here we are. So I'm gonna click here, and now that you created that payroll item, I don't have to do it again. Let's assume Laura is in the position of a manager. Okay, so I don't have to add items here again. I'll just click here and I'll see all the items. All I need to do is pick the right one for Laura. And that's the good thing with QuickBooks. Once you set up something once, you don't have to do it again, right? So I'm gonna click here and do it for Laura. She's let's say Laura is a salesperson. Okay, so she gets commission. So pick sales commission. Now I need to indicate the rate. We entered the rate before. So the moment you click sales commission and click here, the rate will come automatically. It's 10%. All now I need to do is decide how do I pay my salespeople. I pay them at the end of the month, this commission. So I'll click here. Pay frequency, it's monthly, right? Then I need to payroll schedule. We set the payroll schedule for monthly and nothing has changed. I don't pay them at the end of the week. I pay them monthly, these commissions. So just pick monthly. And that is it. Nothing else that's required. I'll just click OK. There you go. Let's now go to Rachel. And I will double click Rachel to add compensation info. So double click. Here we are. So come and click here. And I'm going to pick payroll compensation info. And here we are. I'm going to click here and pick the right pay item or earning item for this employee. So click right here. Let's say I pay them all right, let's say it's a hourly. Okay, and let's say for the overtime I pay them at the end of the week, actually weekly, because this is overtime. They don't wait for the overtime at the end of the month. I pay them weekly. If I do pay them weekly, then that means I have to set up a new payroll schedule because I pay them weekly. I don't pay them at the end of the month. So I pick weekly, then I click right here. It's not the payroll schedule, it's not monthly, it's weekly. So I have to set up a new payroll schedule for this type of earning item. Now notice this, different earning items have different payroll schedule. Overtime, probably paid at the end of the month. Sorry, you probably paid at the end of the week or at the end of 2 weeks. It doesn't wait until the end of the month. A regular salary, you paid at the end of the month. Sales commission at the end of the month. So for hourly overtime, you paid either end of the week or after every 2 weeks. In our case, we pay after every end of the week. So I'm going to click new and set up frequencies weekly. So I have to set up a new schedule. I want this system to be preparing the overtime pay raw report so that at the end of the week, I know how much I'm supposed to pay those employees that have worked overtime. So I have to set up the payroll schedule right here. I'm going to click here and pick new. Here we are. So what do you want to name this payroll schedule? It's weekly. It's weekly. So we type in weekly. We pay them at the end of every week. How often will you pay your employees on this schedule? Bi-weekly. We have weekly. I pay them. Bi-weekly basically means you pay them at every end of 2 weeks. Okay. Weekly means you pay them at the end of every week. Sorry for this. You pay them at the end of every week. Let's come back here. So semi-monthly, you pay them twice per month. Okay. And monthly, you pay them every month. Quarterly, you pay them after 3 months. Annually, you pay them once per year. So in this case, it's weekly. Okay, we pay them at the end of every week because they are overtime. So what is the pay period and date? I want to know the pay period and date for this month. And in our case, it should be ready by, let's for easy handling, we'll be paying our employees after every 2 weeks, sort of every week. Okay, so let's change this one. I give it every other 2 weeks, right? Then when you come here, today is Friday. 2 weeks will be over by 26th. Okay, so you're counting 2 weeks from now. So we have this week and the other week. So I want this to be ready by 26th. So you can pick 26th. If we pick here weekly, and then we come here, I want it to be ready by 19th because today is 12th. Counting a week from now, it's just the whole of next week. So by 19th, I want this payroll to be ready. So I can pick 19th. That means on 19th this day, the system will automatically have prepared payroll reports for any given employee who's working overtime. Okay, let's actually go with that instead of bi-weekly. Let's just go with that so that you can see how this one works. So what date should appear on the paycheck for this period? I want it to appear the same date that I'll be paying them. Okay, and that's it. So I want the payroll report for the hourly employees to be ready by 19th, and in the check it's going to appear the same date. It's what's going to appear in their checks, and then I click OK. So depending on different pay earning items, you set different payroll schedules. You have the freedom to do it weekly, daily, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annually. You decide. And then I click OK. There you are. So now we have all these employees. We have their pay, their earning items set up, and we have the system. We have set up and indicated and configured the system to be preparing for hourly employees. They're going to be paid at the end of every week. So the system is going to be preparing this report at the end of every week. And for the salaries, they're going to be prepared on 28th by 26th. Salaries are going to be ready. The system will have prepared all those reports and they are going to be paid on 28th. That is very, very important. I want you to take your time and do that. I want you to practice and master that. Setting earning items, whether that is salaries or hourly rates or commissions or bonuses. And then I want you to master the art of setting the frequency, which could be monthly, which could be weekly, depending on how you pay your employees. If it's a regular salary, it's monthly. If it's hourly rate, like for Rachel, we set the hourly rate to be, let's get back there, set the hourly rate to be weekly, because you pay them at the end of every week. And then make sure you get good at setting the payroll schedule. This is where now the system makes your work easier. It will prepare all the payroll reports for you, whether it's for executives or for salespeople. It will handle different reports for different people differently, and you're going to have your pay slips ready by 28th of that month. If it's a regular pay, if it's for overtime, the system will make sure that at the end of every week you have your pay slip that shows how much you're supposed to pay overtime for your employees at the right time. And it will take away a lot of paperwork, a lot of manual work. And that's why, as a finance professional, an accountant, you really need to get good at this. And if you do, you will be able to even introduce QuickBooks. Even if it doesn't exist in your company, you can actually introduce the system and show them how it makes the work easier, not just for you, but for the entire company, to eliminate any form of mistakes. So here's the deal. I want you to add 3 more customers in this lesson. This is your assignment. This is your practical exercise now. I want you to add 3 more employees, not customers, sorry, employees. And for each and every one of them, I want you to set up earning items. You don't have to call them executive salary. You can call them any name you want. Make sure you have regular salary. Make sure you try work with the bonuses and commissions and hourly rates. And then practice setting up frequency and payroll schedule. Make sure you grasp everything that we've learned in this lesson. So for now, I want you to follow along, do what you've done so far. Add this employee, this employee, and this employee. Set up the earning items just the way we have done it. Follow along, complete what you've done right now. And then after that, after you've completed and practiced, your assignment in this lesson is add 3 more employees apart from the ones that you will have added. These ones, add 3 more employees and set up their earning items and their frequency of payment and payroll schedule. Be sure to get good at that. And then in the next lesson, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to handle deductions. Okay, but for now, I want you to grasp what you did today, right? And go ahead. After you've grasped it, add 2 more employees and set up earning items, frequency of payment, and schedule payroll and schedule your payroll. So that's it for this lesson. It's very important. Make sure you get it right. Then I'll see you in the next lesson as we dive into how to handle deductions. Remember, we are still working on employee payroll. I'm going to show you how to handle deductions. Until then, complete what you've done. Go ahead and do the practical exercise that I've given you in this lesson. And I'll see you in the next lesson as we take those skills to the next level.